everybody. Now, this past January, Trinity Rodman signed a 3-year contract with the Washington Spirit to remain with the club through 2028. Now, the contract is at $1 million per year, making her the highest paid women's soccer player in the NWSL and also in the world. $2 million per year. It's the largest contract in NWSL history to date. Her previous contract was $1.1 million over 4 years. So let's talk about Trinity Rodman and her new contract. Were you surprised to see her end up staying at the Washington Spirit, Kelley?
No, I think ultimately that's where she wanted to be. I think there was just constraints ahead of the Rodman Rule being coming into existence that, you know, she wanted to go. Spirit has been her club since the beginning, right? She got drafted to the Spirit. She has won championship with the Spirit, and I think that she ultimately wanted to stay with the Spirit or with NWSL, but was willing to go overseas to get paid what she's worth. So the fact that NWSL as a league and Spirit as a team are able to retain her is huge for them, and I'm really happy for her because I think this is ultimately best case scenario.
Trinity Rodman's a badass. Yeah, I mean, coming into the league as young as she did, being a staple, winning a championship with you. I still remember watching the assist she gave you in that final. It was brilliant. But from what she does on the pitch to off the pitch, the representation she brings, but also now as a businesswoman. You guys, she forced the NWSL's hand to accommodate to her rights as a player, to what she's worth, for them to make a Trinity Rodman rule, hip rule, whatever we're going to call it. And I think that that's something that we can't overlook. Now, are there things that need to change with this? Absolutely. Yeah. Do I think this rule is going to stay the same? No, it shouldn't. I think there's many things that need to change with this. But I think for Trinity Rodman, this is incredible. I think it's historic that we're getting to see this. And I can't wait to see her in this league for many years to come, because I think her work has just begun for what she can really do to push this sport forward.
I think there's no doubt that she deserves every single element in this contract, with 33 goals, 23 assists, and under 120 appearances already. She is an incredible talent, has the market ability to go along with that for the NWSL, and that is, she deserves every single aspect of it. The high impact rule, I think, is where the flaw in the system is. The whole aspect of this that I think is the number one thing, it's pushing a broader conversation. She's now set a standard that has to be across NWSL. I don't think many people agree with the high impact rule. When I'm looking at how you even qualify for it, big names like Chawinga and Marta, that doesn't mean they can qualify for it. And that, for me, is absolutely crazy, because they are some of the most impactful players, not just in the NWSL, but the world. So now it's, okay, amazing. Everyone wants to see players earn what they absolutely deserve. But what's the next conversation is making sure everyone else across the board in the NWSL, global football, again, why competitions like what we're talking about today is so important. It just raises the bar across the board. Every single person in the NWSL elsewhere deserves to be earning what they should be as well.
Well, with that high impact player rule, it allows teams to spend over $1 million over that team's salary cap. Why don't people like this, Kelley? Why are people not liking towards it?
Jen touched on it a little bit. It's the players who qualify to be paid part of or all of the $1 million over a team salary cap. And then on top of that, my frustration is like the league went about it the wrong way. Yeah. There is a union now. We have a players association. They contractually are obligated to go to the players association and negotiate and make sure that they both agree on whatever change there's going to be to salary cap, to compensation within the league. And they didn't do that. And to me, I'm like, that seems silly. Like, I don't know why they made it more difficult for themselves. Yeah. Because I think that the idea behind it is right. You know, we want to attract the top talent. We want to retain the top talent. So we need to be able to have the ability to pay them what they're worth. But the NWSL didn't go about it the right way. I'm pretty sure the Players Association is filing a grievance, and and that's going to just cause more problems. So it's like we should have been, or the league should have been a bit more strategic and forward-looking around making this rule. And maybe there's some things around their hands being tied and the timing of it. But again, so excited for Trinity. She deserves it. Pump for the NWSL, pump for me. Selfishly, I'm like, I'm so happy she's staying, because I love watching her in this league. I love watching her in the Spirit jersey.
That was huge.
She's so entertaining. She's one of the most entertaining players on the field. She's got the flair off the field. She's got the personality. We are so lucky to have her, and I'm so pumped for her. But the league, the NWSL, we gotta do better.
The league needed to be far more pragmatic with this point blank period. We all knew this contract was coming up.
Right.
Teams were already looking to sign her. The salary issue has been something since the league's inception that has been talked about every single year. So then for them to damage an already very fragile relationship between trust of the players, trust of the PA with the league, it just seems that this could have been prevented if this was thought about and an actualized plan was set out before this. And now I think sometimes the biggest flaw with the league, you touched on a flaw, to me is that sometimes they put a Band-Aid over issues just to get over it quickly for the season, when it comes back to haunt them even more.
I think they're too reactive.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Well, the problem, to answer your question, though, there are so many limitations.
Yeah.
You still have to be in the top 11% or top 11 players in percentage of minutes for the national team. So it's coined the Rodman Rule for a reason. It's because it benefits very, very few players, which I think is the limitation that the NWSL have done.
If we see some players who have been talking about these big money contracts and the impact it has on the women's game, Viv Miedema had to say some clubs will view those figures with envy and uncertainty, but they will also ask themselves, how do we ensure we don't fall behind? Is that something, well, the fact that she's earning a good salary is very positive for her, but also for women's soccer in general, for the development of women's football, it's positive to see the transfer fees are increasing, or in this case, that good contracts are being offered. Do you agree with this?
I do. Look, I was a teammate with Viv Miedema for a long time at Arsenal, and she's a very intelligent girl, even from a footballing perspective, very tactical. And what she's so good at is seeing things from a strategic standpoint. So this is a prime example. You're seeing a player earn a certain contract, in which we're all in agreement is so well deserved and amazing for women's football. But she'll be thinking the same as everyone else. She'll be thinking, okay, what is that high impact role? How does that actually benefit everyone and not just Trinity Rodman?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Viv Miedema is talking from, a really positive standpoint for Rodman earning that contract. But she's thinking, right, how does women's football still progress? How do we not leave the teams in lower tiers in England, for example? How do we grow the NWSL? How do we make sure other people are earning what they deserve as well? She's thinking of bigger picture, which I think we all are in women's football. We all care about it. We all want to have the best impact possible, and I think that quote sums up that really well.
A big debate as well, which I think we're going to be talking on a bit later on in one of our shows, is the debate between the WSL and the NWSL. It wasn't just a big win for Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit, but it seems like it's restored that faith in players staying over here and staying in the NWSL, Kelly.
I think it has, but again, there's such a limitation around who qualifies to be part of this high impact player salary. What are we calling it? Rule, I guess?
Yeah.
So that's my issue with it, is that we want to retain and keep the top talent here, but we also want to attract worldly talent, global superstars. And my concern is that this rule doesn't afford that opportunity to all the clubs and doesn't include the bigger pool of players that it should, that we want to bring over here. And I just think it was, I don't think it was the right move.